Relationships don't fail because of a lack of love, and they don't fail because of a big explosion. Sometimes that happens, sure. But in the majority of cases that I see in couples therapy, relationships are failing because of a slow deterioration. And that deterioration happens because of a lack of emotional safety in the relationship. If you feel like your relationship is on the rocks, then today's video is going to be a little bit about why relationships fail and how you can proactively work to heal your relationship in real time, or at least prevent it from getting to that point. If you're new here, my name is Wes. I'm a couples therapist. This channel is devoted to helping you heal your relationships. Let's dive right into it. So when we fall in love, our brains are flooded with chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin, things that are designed chemically to bring us together and get us excited for our partner. That's why in the early dating stage and honeymoon stage, you are infatuated often with your partner. The problem is that, of course, this period doesn't last. And eventually, our attachment system takes over instead of that dating system that's flooding our brain with hormones. The attachment system is based on your patterning from childhood and how you were raised with your early primary caregivers. It impacts your adult relationships in that it is oriented towards both bonding and also protection. So the goal of the attachment system is to help you figure out ways to bond with your partner long term, but it also is designed to protect you. This point in the relationship is where real partnership begins. This is where we start asking, often unconsciously, are you still safe for me? Do you still choose me when I'm messy or when I'm tired or distant or sad? And that's the beautiful work of relationship. That's why relationships can be a path of personal development, because it pushes us to work with our partners through that difficulty. When partners don't know how to answer these questions for each other, the nervous system interprets that sense of disconnection as danger. Your heart rate rises, cortisol spikes in your bloodstream, and we move into this kind of fight, flight, or freeze response that you've probably heard of before. This is where the disconnection begins. Each person is trying to protect themselves, and so you develop strategies oriented around that sense of protection because you sense danger from your partner, because you're not getting the kind of connection and safety that you actually need. So research in the field of couples therapy that focuses on attachment theory or emotionally focused couples therapy or Dr. John Gottman's work all point to the fact that most relationships don't end suddenly. They usually unravel gradually over time, and this happens through a few things: failed repair attempts, missed bids for connection, a lack of attunement, and emotional withdrawal from partners. All of those things combine to create this sense that the other person is not emotionally safe. And then you begin to see everything that that person does through a negative lens. Usually this creates a situation where negative sentiment override eventually sets in. That's that negative view of your partner, where it starts to feel like everything they do annoys you. This can be really nefarious in relationships, because the more you start to see your partner and your partner's actions and their intentions through this negative lens, the more you start to resent the relationship, the more you start to look outside the relationship for the comfort and connection and care that you need. And of course, that can lead to really negative outcomes long term. So if you or your partner find that you are feeling a little bit like this is the case for you, then keep in mind that this doesn't mean that things are impossible. You can heal. So let's talk a little bit about how to combat this feeling of disconnection, loneliness, resentment that's been building. What I recommend is that you start working with your partner right now on these 5 things. 1, practice emotional presence, not perfection. Okay? What this is attunement. You want to be honed in to your partner whenever possible. You want to be present with them. That means putting down the phone, turning off the TV, and noticing when they are making emotional bids that you can then respond to. Connection starts in the small, ordinary moments. You put down your phone, you look your partner in the eyes, you notice their tone, their breathing, the micro expressions of what's happening underneath. If you feel like you're bad at any of this stuff, I made a whole video about attunement and how to get better at it that I'll link down below. Attunement is the skill of noticing what's not being said with your partner. Okay? It's not just about the words. It's also the sigh that they give that's showing that they're sad, their slumped shoulders, the subtle pullback. That's all kind of cueing you in to the fact that they feel unsafe or sad or afraid. You're looking for that emotional context and then trying to respond to it, saying something like, hey, you seem a little bit off. What's going on here? The goal here is to get better at this, at empathizing with your partner in the moment, staying present and attuned to what's going on for them, because all of these things show your partner that you care and that you are investing in the relationship. That's the goal here. Number 2 is to learn your body's early warning signals. The big thing here is that when you are triggered by something that your partner says or does, we all get into this position where we respond in a way that we don't want to. And that can create harm with our partner. In fact, research has shown that emotional harm can actually feel the same and activate the same parts of our brain as physical pain. So your partner might actually feel hurt, like really hurt, if you are blowing up at them or getting defensive or, saying mean things to them if you don't mean to say. The goal here then is to notice what's going on for you so that you can get ahead of those triggers over time. You're going to work on this. So the first thing I would usually recommend my clients do is begin to notice your physiological cues. What does that mean? Well, it means pay attention to when your heart rate is rising in your chest, when you're feeling tense in your shoulders or your neck, because that might indicate tension that would then blow up into more serious things like frustration or anger. Notice the impulse that you have to interrupt your partner during a conversation. Notice the tightness in your throat that might be indicating fear of saying something wrong. All of these things could be your body saying, I don't feel safe right now. And it's worth exploring that. And then also taking a moment when these things come up to pause, take a breath, and regulate. Plant your feet on the ground, loosen your jaw. Teach your nervous system that your partner is not dangerous in this moment and that you can respond from a place of intention. Number 3 is to work on speaking the need, not the complaint. Okay. This is something that comes from emotionally focused couples therapy. It's something that Dr. Sue Johnson talks about in her book, Hold Me Tight, which I would highly recommend you check out if you haven't read it already. But this model basically teaches that conversations that heal relationships are the ones that move from accusation to vulnerability. We want to, instead of saying something like, hey, you never help around the house, which is kind of an accusation, right? You want to try softening it and speaking from your feelings underneath, because that's more vulnerable and that encourages empathy and connection and bonding from your partner. Say something like, hey, when I'm doing everything alone, chore-wise, I feel really unseen and unimportant. It feels like you don't care about all the effort and work that I'm putting in, or like you're contributing to this family. I feel unprioritized. The structure here is simple. Okay? Name the behavior that's going on. Share the emotion that it triggers for you, and trying to use I feel statements like, hey, when you don't clean the dishes, I feel burdened, left out, disappointed, right? That's how that works. And then reveal the deeper need underneath that. That's the real key here. That's the vulnerable part, which is, hey, what I really need or want here is for us to be a team. I want to feel like we're a team around some of these chores. I feel really alone when I don't feel that way. See how vulnerable that was and how that feels more impactful than another way of saying it that might feel more accusatory. So start small, with this, but pick one low stakes thing that you can bring up to your partner and practice using this format. The better you get at it, the better your conversations with your partner will go over time. This creates bonding moments. And the more you bond with your partner in this way, the more connected you both feel, the safer you feel, the more the kind of hard edges of your conversations get softened, and the better you both will get at feeling like a team. Number 4 is to create agreements between yourselves that protect the bond that you guys share. The reason for this is that even the healthiest couples have arguments, of course, like everybody does. But what matters is how you treat each other in those arguments. And so you want to have agreements that help you kind of contain things from getting out of control, because you're not on your best behavior when conflict is high. So create shared agreements that guide you in your partner when things get tense. This could be something like, hey, when one of us starts to feel flooded or overwhelmed, I want us to take a 5-minute break before we continue. But we're going to come back and finish the conversation afterwards. That's our agreement, okay? Or, hey, we have agreed that we are not going to interrupt each other until we have reflected back what the other person has said, okay? This really helps if you feel like your partner interrupts you or jumps in all the time. The goal with these rules is not control. It's an agreement to create a safety plan that protects each other and creates a place where love can flourish. That's the goal here. And then 5 is to repair quickly. You guys are going to get into conflicts and you're going to mess up. That's a given in any good relationship. But the way that you repair is so important to the longevity of your relationship. Dr. John Gottman's research supports that healthy repair is one of the most fundamental things that good couples do well. So here's how to sincerely repair with your partner if things go wrong. Acknowledge the hurt, acknowledge what you did wrong, take ownership of your part in what you did, and then Show a clear signal of re-engagement with your partner. Okay. Something like, hey, I still want to be close to you, or hey, I really want to fix this, or hey, I want to do better next time. Okay. So that could sound like, hey, I didn't handle that well. I'm so sorry. I would really like to do better here. Something as simple as that. Or hey, I can see how that landed for you. I really didn't mean to snap at you like that. I'm so sorry. I really want us to find our connection again. Small, timely repairs with your partner keep things from escalating and turning into big, big fights. Each one is you saying, hey, we want to be together more than we want to be right. If you're watching this and you're already thinking, well, I've messed up, but I am not good at any of these things, just know that you haven't messed up. It's okay. Like, there's still time to fix things and to get better at these skills. The most powerful repairs happen after a big rupture, not before it, obviously. So even just getting better at that one piece can make everything so much better in your relationship over time. So let's recap real quick. Practice emotional presence. Practice working on attunement, slowing down, being present with your partner. 2, track your body and your cues. Understand a little bit more what triggers you and notice those feelings before you react. That's the goal long term. 3, work on having hold me tight conversations where you speak your feelings and your needs to your partner vulnerably. This is going to take time and it's going to be tough, but the better you can get at this, the more bonded you and your partner are going to feel, and that helps everything. 4, make clear conflict agreements with your partner. So sit down, map out, hey, when things get rough, how do we want to respond to each other? What are the things that we want to agree to, even when it's hard? And then 5, learn how to repair quickly. Get good at repairing quickly with your partner, even when things don't go the way that you want them to, especially when things don't go the way that you want them to. Couples who thrive are not the ones who never argue or who always fight. They're the ones who repair again and again so that safety becomes the better. That sense of safety is huge for your long-term success. If this resonated, stay tuned for my next video. And if you made it this far in the video, please give it a like. It really helps out the channel. I would really appreciate it. Share it with somebody who might be interested. Leave a comment down below to let me know which one of these you might be struggling with. And if any of these things are things that you want a whole video around, because I'd love to help you out. Until next time, take care.